the morning sun cast long shadows across the glass towers of downtown Toronto. When the announcement arrived like a digital thunderclap, Trump Media and Technology Group had officially launched its Truth Plus streaming platform globally, making its mark not just in the United States, but extending its reach into Canada and beyond. The move represented more than just another corporate expansion. It signaled the beginning of what critics would call an unprecedented attempt to reshape the media landscape. North of the 49th parallel, Donald Trump, now firmly ensconced in his second presidency, had long harbored ambitions that stretched far beyond American borders. His media empire, built on the foundation of Truth Social and now bolstered by the streaming service Truth Plus, represented what supporters called a beacon of free speech and what detractors viewed as a potential instrument of political influence. The platform championed free speech, unbiased news, and family-friendly entertainment, according to company statements. But the timing of its Canadian launch raised questions that resonated from the halls of Parliament Hill to the coffee shops of small-town Canada. The Canadian political establishment watched with a mixture of fascination and trepidation as Truth Plus began its northern campaign. Political analysts noted that the platform's arrival coincided with a period of heightened political tension in Canada, where traditional media landscapes were already fracturing along ideological lines. The streaming service promised to deliver content that would challenge what it termed big tech's assault on free speech. But critics wondered whether this was merely code for importing American-style political polarization into Canadian living rooms. The platform's partnership with Newsmax, a conservative American news outlet, particularly raised eyebrows among media watchdogs who called it ethically compromised. The arrangement meant that Canadian audiences would now have direct access to programming that had been crafted specifically for American conservative audiences, complete with its particular brand of political commentary and news analysis. This development sent ripples through Canada's traditional media establishment, which had long prided itself on maintaining a distinctly Canadian perspective on global events. Pierre, the Conservative Party leader who had positioned himself as a populist voice in Canadian politics, found himself walking a delicate tightrope. While he had previously told Trump to stay out of Canadian affairs, and positioned himself as a tough guy capable of standing up to the American president, the arrival of Trump's media platform presented a different kind of challenge. His response to the Truth Plus launch was notably measured, neither condemning the platform outright nor embracing it with enthusiasm. This calculated ambiguity did not go unnoticed by political observers, who saw in his silence a strategic calculation about his own electoral prospects. The non-committal stance that Poilievre adopted regarding the platform became a source of intense speculation across political circles. Some viewed his measured response as shrewd political pragmatism, recognizing that any strong position might alienate portions of his diverse coalition. Others interpreted his silence as evidence of a concerning alignment with Trump's broader political philosophy, noting the similarities in their populist messaging and their shared criticism of mainstream media. The leader's reluctance to take a definitive stand created space for speculation about whether he saw the platform as a potential ally or a troublesome complication. Behind closed doors in Ottawa, government officials and political strategists grappled with the implications of allowing a foreign political figure's media platform to operate freely within Canadian borders. The platform operated within existing legal frameworks, making direct intervention difficult. But the potential for foreign influence in Canadian political discourse remained a pressing concern. Intelligence analysts quietly began monitoring the platform's content and reach, seeking to understand how it might shape public opinion during crucial political moments. The timing of Truth Plus's Canadian expansion proved particularly significant, as it occurred during a period when Canadian politics were experiencing their own populist surge. Poilievre had already been positioning himself as Canada's answer to Trump-style politics, leveraging similar rhetoric and populist appeals. The arrival of an actual Trump-branded media platform created an interesting dynamic, where the Canadian Conservative leader found his political space potentially encroached upon by the very figure he had been compared to, creating both opportunity and risk for his political ambitions. Civil liberties groups and media literacy advocates began organizing responses to what they viewed as a potential threat to Canadian democratic discourse. They argued that the platform's algorithms and content curation, designed for American political sensibilities, might distort Canadian political conversations in unpredictable ways. Educational campaigns were launched to help Canadians critically evaluate the sources and motivations behind the content they consumed, recognizing that the line between entertainment, news, and political advocacy had become increasingly blurred in the digital age. As Truth Plus continued its quiet penetration into Canadian households through smartphones, tablets, and smart televisions, the long-term implications remained uncertain. The platform represented a new chapter in the complex relationship between American and Canadian political culture, one where digital borders proved far more porous than physical ones. Whether this expansion would ultimately strengthen democratic discourse through increased media diversity, or undermine it through the importation of foreign political agendas, remained an open question, one that would likely be answered not in boardrooms or parliamentary committees, but in the daily choices of ordinary Canadians navigating an increasingly complex media landscape. What do you think about Trump's media expansion into Canada? Is this a legitimate exercise in free speech and market competition, or does it represent something more concerning about foreign influence in our democratic processes? The answers to these questions will shape not only the future of Canadian media, but the very nature of political discourse in our digital age. As we watch this story unfold, one thing remains certain: the intersection of technology, media, and politics continues to challenge our traditional understanding of national sovereignty and democratic participation. That is all for today's deep dive into this fascinating and complex story. If you found this analysis insightful and want to stay updated on the latest developments in Canadian politics and media, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Share this video with anyone who might be interested in understanding how global media trends are reshaping our political landscape. Until next time, this is West is Best, reminding you to stay informed, stay critical, and keep questioning the world around you.